Hi everyone, this is Shazib Khan and you are watching the YouTube channel of Pakistan's People-Led Disaster Management. Today is a somber day for humanity. We've all just heard the terrible news coming out of Lebanon. A huge explosion rocked the port at Beirut. Reportedly, so far 135 people have died, 80 are missing. 5,000 are injured and around 300,000 have been left homeless. The devastation inflicted on Beirut is massive. It is a terrible tragedy and apparently it's one of the biggest non-nuclear explosions in human history. We are not yet quite certain about how it happened, but official reports say that the explosion was of a large store of ammonium nitrate kept at a warehouse in the port. Ammonium nitrate is a fertilizer which can be explosive under certain circumstances, and it was apparently kept there for 6 years. Reportedly back in 2014, a ship that left from Georgia and was heading towards Mozambique was carrying the ammonium nitrate when it docked at Lebanon in Beirut, and city officials impounded the ship and later the crew abandoned it. The ammonium nitrate was then brought on shore where it was kept in storage for several years under unsafe conditions, and then just now a fire broke out reportedly in a fireworks factory, and it spread to the ammonium nitrate and detonated it. And as a result, we've had this huge explosion that has damaged half of Beirut. As you can see, it is a very avoidable tragedy, and so many people are demanding answers. It is necessary for us to know how this disaster happened, because it holds very important lessons for all of us. Lessons which are especially needed for the world given current global circumstances. This disaster has come at a time of great trouble for Lebanon. Lebanon has long dealt with big issues. It's at the center of geopolitical tension in the Middle East, and recently it's been dealing with severe economic crisis and with the coronavirus pandemic, which is overwhelming the healthcare system and causing lockdowns. And then this explosion happened, which has made everything so much worse. It's causing huge problems, and now observers are saying that Lebanon could be on the brink of collapse. I think that's not very likely, but I do believe that Lebanon faces a very long and difficult road ahead. And I also believe that what happened there is a dire warning to the rest of us, because I think that it's not a coincidence that the explosion happened during these current troubles in Lebanon. For 6 years that ammonium nitrate was there without anything happening, and I think that's because safety standards were reasonably maintained at the port. Then when the economic crisis and coronavirus came, these safety standards were probably compromised, and maybe as a result the fire broke out at the factory and at the fireworks factory, and then it spread so much that it reached the ammonium nitrate, and that's how this tragedy happened. Some disasters led to other disasters, and then the combined effects of the disasters had a devastating impact. And that's really what happened, because in Lebanon the hospitals were being overwhelmed by all the coronavirus patients, and were finding it difficult to treat all of them, especially because the economic crisis was denying them adequate funding. Then the explosion created 5,000 injured people in an instant that now the hospitals have to treat, and not only that, but the explosion also destroyed a few hospitals and damaged a few others, which means that they're unable to treat coronavirus patients. It is just a huge healthcare disaster, a perfect storm. And I think that what could happen in Lebanon is also likely to happen all over the world, because in other parts of the world, because the coronavirus pandemic is affecting every country, and it's affecting societies very badly. Every aspect of society is being disrupted. Everything is being turned upside down, and that means that we could see that other disasters breaking out, and we could become more vulnerable to other disasters. I believe that the good term for this is disaster proliferation. A cascade of disasters occurring, and then as a result, things go from bad to worse. It could happen in Pakistan, right? We are dealing with a locust outbreak, and it's causing food shortages, and this combined with the food shortages caused by the coronavirus pandemic could create a massive food crisis, and the coronavirus also making it more difficult for us to fight the locust, because it's halting delivery of supplies and making it more difficult to send workers out in the field, and that is worsening the locust upsurge. Also, because of the fears of coronavirus, vaccination campaigns for other diseases have been halted in Pakistan for months, which means that we could see other diseases, other outbreaks of diseases happening because of the coronavirus, and they combined with the coronavirus pandemic could catastrophically overwhelm Pakistan's healthcare system. And also, we are more vulnerable to other natural disasters. This is the summer monsoon, which means major flooding is likely. If that happens, the coronavirus could make it difficult for us to handle the flooding, and the flooding could make the virus spread more easily, because people are crowded together in dense refugee camps. And just like in Lebanon, it may be more likely that industrial disasters and accidents will happen in Pakistan, because the coronavirus is destroying safety standards, making it possible to keep them up. So Pakistan has to be very wary of disaster proliferation. Basically, we are facing huge disasters right now, and they are compromising our disaster management capacity and putting us at greater risk of further disasters happening. So we need to do what we can to be prepared for this. We need to assess how current disasters are affecting us, and how our disaster management capacity is faring, and we need to look at what further disaster risks we could face in the days ahead. It is very important for us. And so right now, our prayers and our heartfelt condolences go out to the people of Lebanon. PPLDM stands with them, and all of Pakistan stands with them. And we also stand with the people of Japan on the 75th anniversary of the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Hiroshima's anniversary is today, and Nagasaki's anniversary comes in a few days. They are some of the worst tragedies in human history. We still grapple with their legacy, and it's very important that we remember them. And of course, in this time of global crisis, it's vital that the world is united. Thank you.